Hi folks, we have just wrapped up with our very successful event COAI Dialogues 2025, and let's hear from the Director General COAI himself what all he has to say regarding the buzz around it. So sir, let's begin with the big picture. What was the core objective behind hosting COAI Dialogues 2025?
The name itself gives out everything. Dialogues. Dialogues would mean that we talk to each other, and from those dialogues will emerge a lot of doable things, a lot of things that the telecom sector requires to be done, and therefore we made all stakeholders sit in this seminar, talk to each other formally, informally, and then come out with issues that need to be addressed. And once these issues have been identified, then we talk of solutions as to how we can solve these problems going forward. This was actually a sequel to a major program which was held in the month of January, and in that a lot of discussion took place. Obviously a lot of ideas came out of that which could not be discussed in that forum. So that had a fallout into these dialogues, and this is how the dialogues were born.
The dialogue surely brought out industry leaders, policymakers and innovators together. So from the deliberations, sir, what were the key learnings and takeaways?
The key learnings are that as we are today, the telecom sector requires a relook for spectrum. Two things in spectrum: one is availability, and second is the costing of spectrum. This is something which is very important, and both regulators and policymakers have to take this head on. We are now mid-life into 5G, and 6G is emerging. So this becomes even more important because of that. Second thing which came out very clearly was the advent of AI. AI is affecting our lives in a very, very disruptive manner, positive disruption as well as negative disruption. So therefore, we want to know how we are going to use AI for the benefit of telecom. That is something that we need to sit down and discuss. Maybe we will have another session of dialogues where we will discuss this. This is a very important aspect that requires policymakers, regulators and the industry sitting together, and maybe we may even get the subscribers. The third thing is something which has been plaguing us for quite some time, and that is for the OTT platforms, the large LTG platforms, not contributing for the creation of the infrastructure on which they ride. The entire burden comes on TSPs. This burden is not increasing, and the gap between what we are spending and what we are recovering is ever increasing. It is very important that we look at this very, very carefully. Beginning was made when at least we got the telcos and the techos sitting together in a round table about a month back along with GSMA. At least they sat together. We didn't discuss this subject, but it was mentioned in the passing. We hope that that will also continue, and maybe that may be one of our subjects of a round table again.
Okay, so sir, taking this forward, we would like to know more about the kind of critical government support that you are talking about.
So I just mentioned that the major support at this point of time we require in two spheres. One is availability, predictability and costing of spectrum. And the second is ease of doing business, because with so much complexity coming in, it is necessary that a single window concept is actually implemented, both for technology rollout as well as for operations. That is a ask that we have from the government. Government is cooperating in that. Government is doing a lot in that, but a lot more needs to be done. While we are at that, as we go into higher frequencies of 5G and 6G, the coverage obviously becomes a little lesser because of frequency, and therefore we require more towers or we require more power. Now in both these cases we require government support. In the case of power, there is a ICNIP WHO norm which we are not following. We had 50%. That also has been enhanced only recently. We want that to go up to 100% of WHO recommendations, because then the coverage to the public will be much better and the density of towers will reduce, will not be as much as is required today. And this is very, very important. Coming with the coming of 6G, it will be extremely important because the throw of the frequency in 6G will be much less. And so unless the power is increased, there will literally be no coverage at all. Third, of course, I mentioned is fair share. We require support from the LTGs that they must logically contribute to what they are riding on and from where they are gaining. So that is essential that the government just becomes the catalyst, makes us sit together, talk to each other, and see that we come to a conclusion as to how we can share the cost. These are the main things that we would require the government to look at.
Thank you so much, General Kochhar, for your valuable insights. The event was clearly a remarkable step in the upcoming future of the telecom sector, and we look forward for more such dialogues and events to happen.